So this week in my reflection video, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the question, what have you enjoyed learning about the most so far in clinical class? I think my favorite subject that we've talked about, the thing we've kind of like learned about and watched videos on and everything, was the work-life balance. I think why I like that the most is because that was the clinical class where I kind of imagined my life in the future, and like my life is hopefully a PA eventually, and just like having a family and being established, and that's something that I really look forward to is my future. So I think that was my favorite class because it kind of made me think about how do I want to deal with things in my future, or how do I want to make sure I'm taking care of my family and also like taking care of my work and being successful in that, and also like my family not feeling like I'm never there. Another reason I liked that topic was when we interviewed like professionals. I interviewed my mom, so that was kind of interesting, kind of seeing like I'm her kid, so I have my own thoughts on how she has work-life balance, and it was kind of interesting hearing her talk about how she feels her work-life balance is, and so like that was kind of interesting, and also talking to my partner with that project and hearing about like what their person that they interviewed said. Um, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting because, like, I can think, like, oh, mom, like, you always bring your laptop home. Like, I specifically remember family vacations where it's like, can you please just not even bring your laptop because I know you'll end up working the whole time. But then kind of seeing how, like, she deals with that and how she thinks it goes. And also kind of, like, hearing about how now she feels like she's home a lot and spending a lot of time at home. It's kind of like, of course, when I'm gone, that happens. But that's okay. But yeah, but I really like that topic just because it made me think about things and like how I want to apply certain like things to my life. Out of the videos we watched, I definitely enjoyed the being off balance on purpose video the most. I thought that made more sense, just like thinking about it and trying to apply it to my own thoughts. The one where the guy like talked about how he worked a ton and then took time off, like took a year off work and then had to go back to work and tried to like figure things out. Felt like that was like almost like a really stressful way to go about it. I really liked the off balance on purpose guy because he's like, this is gonna happen. Like you can't make everything perfect. You can't always be in balance, and here's how you deal with it. And I feel like it's gonna be like that most of the time. Like with things in your job changing, things in your family changing, if you have kids, I mean, like, I feel like that's always changing, and you're just gonna have to adapt and be flexible. And, like, kind of like what my mom said when I interviewed her is sometimes you're gonna be, like, really dedicated to work and really busy with work, and other times you'll be able to spend a lot of time at home. And it's just, like, finding out what works best for, like, you and your family. So that was my favorite topic. The other question that I'm going to answer is how I deal with conflict resolution. It kind of depends on the situation because I really I like to be non-confrontational, and I don't like when there's problems with school or teachers or friends. Like that's something that gives me a lot of anxiety. So it'll be like I know something's wrong with somebody, or I know there's a conflict somewhere in my life, and then that's like consumes my life until it's fixed because it's like all I can think about and like wanting it to be fixed. But it also kind of depends on the situation. If it's a conflict where it's like miscommunication, or somebody like thinks something about me that's not true, or like somebody took something I said the wrong way, I like to fix that like immediately because that just like skyrockets my anxiety, and I don't like people having the wrong idea. So that's something that I fix right away and as soon as possible and without a fight. If it's something, I don't know, if it's something that I feel like it's not really important and I feel like it's kind of on the other person for having that conflict, like with me or something, kind of just ignore it. Not ignore it, but avoid it and don't let it like take over my life if it's not important. If I feel like it's important, I try to take care of it. Um, but whenever I take care of conflict kind of things, I do them in like the nicest way possible, and I usually take all the blame for it and apologize and do everything I can to like feel like it's fixed. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the best way, but I definitely used to be a lot worse at dealing with conflict and confrontation. I used to just like let people walk all over me and never really stood up for myself. And I feel like that's something I'm learning in college is like I'm kind of like my own person and I have to stand up for myself or like I'm going to be walked over my whole life. Um, so yeah, but I think that's, I don't know, something I'm working on and getting better at is dealing with conflict resolution. Um, Definitely dealing with conflict with like people that are superior to me or work or like professors. That's something that I like don't even like to think about because I don't even like it to get to a conflict. I'm a pretty like mellow, chill person. I don't like pick fights. I don't like argue or anything. So there's usually not really conflict there. Usually if there's conflict, it's because of somebody else. So then I just try to apologize and fix it with that person. Um, so yeah, but like a work environment or anything, I would hope that it just never got to an actual conflict. And I always try to like follow the rules, do everything that I'm told to do, especially in work or athletic training, um, and just try not to cause problems. So hopefully I do a good job at that. But yeah, that's how I deal with conflict and resolution. Just try to get it done as quickly as possible and in a good way where no bridges are burnt. So, yeah.